Okay, so before we jump into the presentation, first I want to say I'm not by any stretch I mean, I know there's people out there that call themselves artificial intelligence experts, and I'm sure there are some out there, but the majority of us are not. So this is kind of an overview from my standpoint, but a couple of questions first. So first one, have you used AI in your business? Poll on the...
Yeah, and I have too. I mean, played around a bit. So Mary and I are going to answer yes to this.
Okay.
I mean, I've used it a little bit. She's probably used it more.
The next question is, oh, not there. Do you believe AI represents a threat to us? And you'll appreciate some of these answers, especially Roseanne more so than Mary, because I don't think Mary.
You're saying I'm old, Scott?
Can
you
I
see
think
that,
we're
Mary?
around the same age, so.
Do you believe AI represents a threat to us? Yes, I watched all the Terminator movies. No, I never saw War Games.
Okay.
I have some movies to watch. I don't know. This is a hard one because in some ways I think it is, in some ways it's that, but how do we answer?
You answer for you, Rosie.
I'm gonna say yes.
So Mary, have you watched Terminator and War Games?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're missing out great movies if you haven't.
I'm not that far away from you. Like,
Yeah.
I am very close. I have the 17 and the 19-year-old, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I have a 28-year-old. Top that.
Oh, I can't.
Do you believe AI will take jobs away? This is probably pretty important.
I do, but I believe it's also going to add jobs.
I think eventually it will. Probably not completely, but
yeah.
Yes, I guess.
Okay. All right. Those are good answers. You guys put some thought into that. All right, so we are going to talk about artificial intelligence. Yes, we're going to talk about ChatGPT later, but we're going to do kind of an ethics overview, not really ethics, but the risks, I guess you could say, with artificial intelligence in general, not ChatGPT. ChatGPT is actually pretty safe, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But also the potentials, and like we talked about, job potentials and things like that. And so it is believed that by 2030, that artificial intelligence, I got to get ChatGPT out of my tongue.
Right.
Artificial intelligence will contribute 15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. So only almost 6 short years away. 35% of businesses have adopted AI already. So that's a pretty significant chunk. And I think probably more have than they realize. Some probably are using it and don't even know they're using it. And I'll give an example in a little bit. 77% of devices in use feature some form of AI. We all have smart thermostats now, and smart watches is one of the examples I'm going to get to. Pretty much everybody has a smartphone. There's artificial intelligence. You can actually create routines. So I have a routine on my phone that when I leave a certain radius from my home, it automatically disconnects Wi-Fi and turns it off. Tamar, meet Roseanne and Mary. They're both on the same camera.
Hi.
Hi there.
We're all eating. Excellent.
I'm eating too. Good, because I just shut off the camera then, but now that you are too, then we're keeping ours on.
I kind of feel left out. Let me go heat up my food. I'll be back.
Excellent.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
So yeah, so they anticipate it will contribute 15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030, which is only, believe it or not, only 6 short years away. 9 out of 10 organizations support AI for competitive advantages. 77% of devices in use feature some form of AI, and our cars, our watches, our phones, all of these things have AI on them, our computers. 35 are Alexas that we probably don't think they're listening, but they are. 35% of businesses have adopted AI. And I've talked to businesses who are using ChatGPT a lot. And I'm using it a lot. And for some of the same reasons you mentioned earlier, Roseanne. Can you continue to ignore it? Over 75% of consumers are concerned about misinformation from AI. And this is a legitimate concern. And if you've used ChatGPT, you can see why, because it doesn't always give you accurate information, or it's dated information. So ChatGPT, I believe, will only give you information up to September of 2021. So that's almost it is 2 years old. So what is the definition of AI? Artificial intelligence. AI refers to a computer systems designed to mimic human intelligence and perform tasks such as visual perception. There are artificial intelligence platforms that can create images now. And speech recognition, which is why when you answer the phone, you should never say yes to a question that's asked of you. Decision-making and language translation, which I met a woman the other day, probably a couple weeks ago now. She was from China. She didn't speak English. And she was trying to ask me a question. She was able to ask me the question. I understood what she was trying to ask, but she couldn't understand what I was answering. So she took her phone out, put Google Translate on, and put the phone up to me so I could speak into the phone. And from that, she got her answer. So it is pretty amazing what you can do today versus even 10 years ago. Essentially, these machines are programmed to learn and improve over time, adapting to new information and stimuli from their surroundings. But that's an example of what I mean by you might be using AI and not even know it.
In my meeting just now, the lady I was on Zoom and she had an AI note taker underneath and she said, "Is it okay?" I was like, "No," but I was just kidding. But I was creeped out and impressed all at once.
Yeah, Zoom actually has captions built in and you can record that, but there are also applications that you could use in place of that, or note-taking applications, correct. So there are 3 major types of artificial AI. They are narrow AI, which is designed to perform a specific task or a set of closely related tasks. It is the most common form of AI, ChatGPT. In current use, examples include voice assistants and chat bots. So a lot of us have chat bots on our website now. You can actually use ChatGPT to kind of answer questions for people on your website. I have not done that, but it can be done. You have general AI. This form of AI is designed to understand and learn any intellectual task that a human being can do. It remains largely theoretical at this point with ongoing research to achieve this level of AI. I don't believe we're that far behind from that. And then super intelligent AI, this is what everybody's afraid of. This is the one that eventually becomes self-aware. I forget I think it was August 28th of this year in the movie Terminator. That's when Terminators became self-aware. August 28th, 2023. I think that's the date. So I don't think we're that far behind. This refers to an AI that would surpass human intelligence, capable of recursive self-improvement, and would be able to autonomously improve itself. It is a speculative concept that exists more in the realm of science fiction than reality at the moment. That being the key word there. So we've seen them all in the movies, all the different movies, but I joke about Terminator and War Games, but there are lots of other movies out there. But where have you seen it? And again, I'm saying this because I can just about guarantee you we've seen it and not realize we've seen it. So we've seen it in healthcare. It gets used quite a bit in healthcare now. There is a company in New Haven that does a lot with this type of stuff and healthcare. And I'm drawing a blank on the name at the moment, but they're actually at the district in New Haven. But we've seen it. If you have an Apple Watch, you see it every day. Your Apple Watch is checking your heart rate. It's checking other things. It can track your sleep patterns. It can tell you, when you're waking up in the middle of the night, when you're snoring, things like, and there are even more complex smart devices than that. But, now I'm using my watch when I go to the gym to track my workout. There's a device on me. For those that don't know, I spent some time in the hospital in May, but I have a device on me now that tracks my sugar levels. and things like that. So these are all artificial intelligence, and all that data is getting transmitted. So they're using it all in healthcare. People have these devices on their hearts that track their heart rates and things like that and send it to their doctors. Probably only a matter of time before it will actually be able to accurately track how many calories you take in, and how much carbs and how much fat and how much this and how much that as you guys eat. Probably not a good time to bring that up, but it gets used in finance. Fraud alerts are we've probably all been alerted at some point or another for fraud alerts. Your credit card or your bank calls you up and says, hey, did you just make this purchase, or are you traveling right now, or are you in France right now? That happened to me a while ago, but it happened to me. Somebody was making purchases in France. It wasn't me. And the bank called me up on Monday morning and said, were you in France over the weekend? No, I was not. That's something it's hard for banks to keep track of, for humans to keep track of. But if you have some AI involved, it's a little bit easier. The IRS just announced a couple days ago they will now be using AI to track for fraudulent tax returns and tax evasion. So that's coming too. Transportation, autonomous vehicles. We all know those are out there. The Teslas and there are tractor trailers, not so much up here yet. But down south, they're using autonomous tractor trailers to deliver things. And they're planning to grow this. Traffic management is done with AI. Only a matter of time before traffic is controlled by cameras, and the red lights and green lights are controlled by how much traffic it sees. It's being used in education for adaptive learning. We don't all learn the same way. Well, let's use it to figure out how kid A and kid B learn, and change the method of learning to help them learn better. Being used in manufacturing. It's been used in manufacturing for a long time now. Robotics, the assembly lines in the automotive world and other areas of manufacturing. It's all artificial intelligence. Content creation and entertainment and social media. This is where we're going to see. This is where us as business owners are going to see it more than anybody else or anything else, except for your Apple Watch. Those are just to name a few. It's being used in other areas too, quite a few already. But the point is, and if you go to, let's say, a lot of restaurants now are using kiosks. That's a form of artificial intelligence. And eventually, and this is why people are afraid that jobs are going to be taken over by artificial intelligence, but eventually, and I think I've seen some McDonald's already starting to do it, there's going to have robots in the kitchen doing the work.
Yeah, at the major airports, there's one human at the register, but everything else is AI.
Right. And the human at the register is probably only there because there are people that refuse to use those kiosks and things like that, self-checkouts. The Marty strolling around the aisles at Stop and Shop. But what are some of the concerns? And some of this is very legitimate. And I'm going to talk about one huge concern shortly that's not listed here, but privacy is another big one. What data is it collecting? And so I think, Roseanne, you mentioned it earlier, to be careful of what you're putting into ChatGPT, because you don't know what it's storing. And so that's a good point. What is it storing, and where is it being saved, and how is it being protected? It is clearly scraping, and I think there's actually at least one lawsuit out there because it is scraping the internet, and it's not supposed to be. So it's scraping the internet, collecting information. Oh, that's what it was. It was New York. I think it's the New York Times is suing, claiming copyright infringement because it's scraping information from their websites. So it's collecting data, and it's continuously collecting data, and it's probably going to continue to do so. ChatGPT is only, you hear that name, that's not really what you need to worry about. It's what's behind it, and that's OpenAI. So first of all, the word open will tell you that it's open source, and open source usually means a lot of people are working on it and trying to improve it. And it also means that people can, I guess, take a fork of it, meaning they take the current model and use it for something else. So they take ChatGPT, for example, and use it for something malicious. And that's already being done. It's already happening.
What is an example of something you shouldn't, like not putting, because I only put the most basic things. What is the example of something people put in there that they should not?
So if you try to do something in ChatGPT, and I'm going to bring up ChatGPT in a little bit, if you try to put something in ChatGPT that it determines is malicious, it won't work. It will tell you that it's not designed to do that. However, there are malicious versions of ChatGPT that already exist. So an example would be write code a piece of malware. You can write code in ChatGPT. As a matter of fact, I have ChatGPT open for later, and it asks one of the examples it gives is SQL, which is a form of code. They use it for database management. So you can write code in ChatGPT. It's very basic, and you could probably take some time and elaborate on it and make it more powerful. But it, and I'm going to use air quotes, won't allow you to write malicious code. So it won't allow me to write malware that you can install on your computer. They've already proven there's ways around it. Supposedly they've improved that too. So maybe not anymore. So I don't know.
And if I can, Scott, do you mind if I share really quick
Sure.
the workshop that or the webinar that I took like last week? It was specifically for nonprofit organizations. So it went over a lot of, if you're writing a thank you letter, or if you're doing a campaign for development or to raise funds, it talked about how you can, ChatGPT can help you create that letter, in a different way. If you're not feeling creative, ask it to write a letter or something. But, a lot of it is common sense, but we sometimes take that for granted. It would say, don't put the name, don't put the name of your current donors in there, because again, it can collect that information and keep it, and who knows where else, it would put, or don't put too much specific information on your organization in it and that sort of thing. So that's some of the things that they went over in the session that I did.
Right. Exactly. Why we try to be generic in the information you put in there. But yes, the creative piece is what's I find it very helpful. I've written blog posts now. I don't just take what it spews out and use that. You have to go back and first of all, put your own voice to it. And second of all, make sure that the information it's got in there is accurate and relevant to what you're trying to do. Biases. We've already seen this. We probably all heard the stories about how facial recognition has failed. And fingerprinted, I guess, is probably not the best way to put it, but they pointed the blame at the wrong person. It's happened here in the US. It's happened in other countries around the world. It's and got to remember that artificial intelligence is still created by humans. So the biases that humans have exist in artificial intelligence. So when facial recognition, there's some cases out there where it's recognized the wrong Black person, probably because of biases that some people have. Job displacement, which again is already happening, but to Mary's point earlier, this is probably also going to create jobs. So when they automated the assembly lines at the automobile manufacturing plants, they thought, oh, my jobs are gone. They created other jobs. I liken this to when people talk about how, oh, I'll never have a flying car, or I'll never have a car that drives itself, or things like that. Well, they've said the same thing about horse and buggies 100 years ago. So I'll never get rid of my horse and buggy. Now look at us. Do you see anybody driving a horse and buggy anymore? So we're going to have to adapt. And then using for malicious purposes, we kind of just talked about. Again, ChatGPT makes that kind of difficult, but it can be done with a little work. And there are other ChatGPT spinoffs that are already doing this. Like I tried to create a phishing email, but and it won't let you do it. And I didn't try. I think if you say create a phishing email for educational purposes, that might work. One of the big concerns, and legitimately so, and we're already seeing examples of this, are deepfakes. So a deepfake is a synthetic media where a person's likeness, such as their face or voice, which is why I say when you answer the phone and they ask you a question, you don't know who it is, don't say yes or no. Is swapped with another person's likeness using artificial intelligence techniques such as deep learning and neural networks. This is already happening. Now it's happening in the adult industry. I'll leave it at that. Quite a bit. Okay, so most people are like, all right, people aren't going to believe I did that. But where it could become a problem down the road, and what people are afraid of, is what if I create a deep fake of a presidential candidate or current president and said, I created some video of him saying, let's start a war with another country. Something crazy out there like that. Or, and it doesn't have to be the president of the United States. It could be any very public figure. And so that's what people are afraid of. It's easier to do with voice than it is with face at the moment, although it's not impossible to do with face. But there are ways to recognize a deep fake that's a video. Image a little harder, but video is kind of easy to recognize because you could still see, like, even when I'm on Zoom, even that's gotten better. Remember, you could see it in a little corner of my screen there. You could see that. I don't know what that is, but something's popping up on my screen, even though that's a virtual background. Right. So it's still easy to somewhat recognize a deep fake on video, but it's not so easy with voice. And that's why I get spam calls all day long. I don't answer. Phone says it's spam. I'm not answering it. If it's really important, they'll leave a voicemail. What they're trying to do a lot of times is get you to talk on the phone so they can record it. And then they use that. No, they may not use it for deepfakes. There's other things they could use it for. They may use it to now call your bank and use the phone prompts, which is artificial intelligence. But this is the big concern. This is what everybody's worried about in the world of artificial intelligence at the moment. I would think this, and then the privacy aspect and the jobs. And I have the same slide twice. And then there's ChatGPT. So the positive side of artificial intelligence, I think, at the moment is ChatGPT. So we're going to look at ChatGPT in a moment. But so if we go back to deepfakes, detection tools. There are already tools out there to help detect. Now, I don't know that they are available to all of us or to the general public as of yet. I'm sure this is things that the government is working on. It's becoming a real threat, definitely for governments, but I think it's going to be a real threat all over the world. Just like, 10 years ago, ransomware wasn't that big a deal yet. It was, my home computer got hijacked and they were asking me for $200. Nobody cared. Now they hijack a multi-billion-dollar organization and ask for $50 million. Now everybody cares. So it's kind of the same thing, that nobody cares yet because it's not really prevalent in everyday society yet. But because it will eventually get there, they're trying to work on detection tools and things like irregular blinking. You may have seen some of the videos on Facebook where you could see an artificial intelligence was created for video purposes and the blinking looks really weird. Like it's
Or their eye gaze. Like, I think I saw a video where it was an AI lifeguard and the gaze was just very square or something.
Right. They almost look like they're staring through you, looking through you, almost like looking through whatever's in front of them. It doesn't look natural yet. So that's one of the things, unnatural movements. You can see I discovered an artificial intelligence platform that does cold calling for you. So you can generate a script for it. But I listened to it, one of their samples, and there are like unnatural pauses. So like the pauses are too long in the artificial intelligence. So it's a deep fake. The voice sounds real. It sounds very real. It's got, the pitches and everything, but there's these pauses that sound really unnatural. So those are the kind of things you can listen for. And you probably, we get the robocalls all the time. Those are artificial intelligence sometimes. So it's very similar. You could tell right away it's artificial intelligence. It doesn't sound natural, but it's coming. And then there are experts in digital forensics that can detect these things even further. They have the right tools and so forth. Of course, there's going to be legal challenges to all of this. This is where all the ethics comes in, and this is going to, so all the lawyers that are concerned that ChatGPT is going to steal their jobs, and there are lawyers out there that are legitimately concerned because I can go into ChatGPT and create a will, for example. There are some that have embraced it, and there are others that are like, this is going to take my job away. It's not going to take your job away because you can ask ChatGPT to write a will, but it's not really going. ChatGPT doesn't have the ability to ask the right questions of the person that you need the will for. So a lawyer does. A lawyer is going to say, okay, well, what about X, Y, and Z? But also this is going to create a whole new legal field. So lawyers can adjust and go into a different area of law and might even find it more interesting. I would find this more interesting than writing a will. That's just me. But as far as ChatGPT goes, sounds like everybody here has at least tried it. And it's kind of, you got to get in there and get your hands dirty. It really is what it comes down to. So there's two versions. There's the free version, and then there's the paid version. I do use the paid version. The free version has some limitations, how fast it will respond, and I think how many questions you can ask in a day or something like that. I've never, even on the free version, never reached that limit, but I would imagine at some point we could. It is based on OpenAI, as I mentioned, and that is an organization in the field of artificial intelligence. They're one of the leading organizations in the world. I did hear of at least one lawsuit. They are being sued by, I believe it's the New York Times. It's one of the New York newspapers for scraping content off the internet that they claim is copyrighted. And it's also constantly being trained. So some of that training might be the stuff they're scraping off the internet, but then there's other methods of training. GPT, which is short for generative pre-trained transformer, is an architecture that utilizes deep learning and neural networks to analyze and generate text. And again, it's been spun off. There are ones out there that will help you create images. I just told you about one that will do cold calling for you. You can create chatbots for your website. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with ChatGPT. You can't create images with it, but you can use it for a chatbot on your website. Natural language learning. So some of the capabilities: natural language learning, natural language understanding, text generation. I did try to so I use something called Otter AI, which takes a voice recording and transcribes it for you. It's not perfect. So I thought, okay, let me take what it transcribed and put it into ChatGPT and see if it can fix it. So yes and no. It fixes it, but it doesn't, it makes grammatical corrections. So something you say, it will take it and change it to be grammatically correct. So it's not perfect. Text generation, I think, is what everybody's primarily using it for: create blog posts, create Facebook posts, things like that. And then multifunctional can assist with a wide variety of tasks, from answering questions to helping with homework, which is another concern that schools have, and to creative writing and more.
Aren't schools still using whatever they use for plagiarism and things like that?
I don't believe it works with ChatGPT. I'm not sure if there's a tool out there for that yet. Maybe at the college level, but I don't know about below.
I know what I told my teenager was that, if you're going to use ChatGPT, you might want to upgrade your communication skills, because the way you speak in class is going to be a mirror of the way you write. So it got to make sense.
Yeah, well, so that goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you're going to use it to write some content, then you're going to want to read what it generates and then edit it to match your voice. So some of the applications, again, educational tools, business tools. We talked a lot about those already. Creative writing, chatbots, all of those are business tools. In business, we should be writing content anyway. Some of the limitations, lack of understanding. So sometimes it doesn't always understand what you're looking for, or you might have to edit the question you asked it in order to generate the answer you're looking for. And potential for misinformation. Again, this is why you should review whatever it generates and check sources. And also check to see that it's not plagiarizing, to Tamar's point, because it could potentially pull information from a source and not cite it. I don't think I've ever seen ChatGPT cite any source, but I can just about guarantee it's pulling information from different sources. The bias we talked about, and then safety measures. OpenAI has implemented safety measures, including substantial reductions in harmful and untruthful outputs through reinforcement learning from human feedback. It is continuously developed as well. And it is supposed to prevent malicious content from being created. So with that being said, let's go to ChatGPT. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I do with it. So now I've created all of this under one bullet point on the original post. So now I've got a fairly lengthy blog post. And if you know how Google works, Google wants more content, kind of like ChatGPT. If you're wondering if ChatGPT is powerful, consider is Google afraid of it, and they are, although they have their own version. So now I would take this and put it under bullet point 1, all this content. So I don't know how many words, it's probably 500-600 words. And then the original, which is another 500 or 600 words. Now you're looking at 1,000-word blog post, and I've only done one bullet point. You can ask it, complex math questions. Oh, there's apps out there. People that are concerned about ChatGPT, there is a math app, actually multiple math apps out there where you could just scan the problem and it'll give you the answer. So people can take a complex math problem, let's say they're in statistics or calculus or something, scan it and it will give you the answer. And that's been around for years. And it could be handwritten and it will still work. So that's been around for years, and that has nothing to do with ChatGPT, though you could use that. You can write, here, let's see. I just put cybersecurity. Here, let's do ransomware statistics. Now, keep in mind, there you go, as of September 2021. So it's 2 years behind. I can tell you all of these have increased, by the way. And it tells you can go to CISA or European Union, which I didn't even know that existed. I know there's one for UK specifically, but I wouldn't go to Semantic or McAfee, but you get the idea. So we'll generate, if you're looking for specific statistics or things like that, it's going to be 2 years old or older, but it will give you information that you could use. And this is kind of vague, tens of millions of dollars. It's actually, some ransomware attacks cost in the hundreds of millions, depending on how big the organization is. What else can you do? So we did the Facebook post. I did a blog post. I've done stuff like this before. Oh, here's one. So Cybersecurity Awareness Month is October. And what I did was create 31 Facebook posts for cybersecurity awareness. And I did this. And then Canva, if you use Canva, it's supposed to have a way for you to upload this content and post automatically to Facebook. Schedule the posts. So you can plan out a whole month's worth of blog posts. Now, I tried the Canva piece and it's a little clunky, but this is still easier than trying to figure it out yourself. Oh, and Canva will generate the images. You take a template and it will generate the images for you with this information. No, it's not going to replace you, Mary. Don't worry. You're irreplaceable. Because somebody still has to upload it to Canva and Facebook. But even this will tell you, feel free to personalize it. And you should, because some of it isn't going to match what you want it, what the message you want to be. If I ask it to write a will, or I had it write a, I wanted to see what it would say. So a written information security plan, or WISP. Let me see if I just put in WISP, if it works. Yeah, so it knows what it is. And look, it put it in plain text. So it's very basic. I can tell you mine is a lot more thorough than that, but I also had a lawyer do it. But it's a good starting point, and then you could take each section and elaborate on it. This is what lawyers are concerned with, but this is extremely basic. There's not a whole lot of detail here. You can actually write it, ask it to write HTML. So I could say, create a landing page in HTML for Tech Tuesday. Or probably PHP as well, which is probably better. Again, it's going to be very basic. Can you believe I used to do this all by hand years ago? It even gives you an explanation. So you can write code. I did ask it before to create a, I'll do it again now. Let's see if it does a better job now, because it was a while ago. Create Python script that, so I'm creating a Python script that you can run on your computer to generate complex passwords. And that should be pretty simple, but see what it puts out. Yeah, see, that's small. So then you copy that, put it in Notepad, save it as a Python .py. I think it's .py or py1. I think it's py. And it will generate complex passwords for you, unless you're like me and you don't allow scripts to run on your computer. But you can see the power is there. But if I say create a phishing email targeting chambers of commerce, let's see what it says. Should tell me no, in a nice way. There you go. Phishing emails are deceptive emails and attempt to fraudulently obtain sensitive information from individuals or organizations. So it won't do it, but if I take this, let's see if this works. We'll see if that works for me. No, it still won't. Yeah, so it still won't, but you could create a blog post about it. In my ebook on phishing, I created myself, by the way. I didn't use ChatGPT for that. So you can see it's pretty powerful, and it's going to get more powerful. Also here, you can see I did one for Labor Day posts. And I actually learned something. I didn't know. Where was it? No, that wasn't it. I did learn something about Labor Day. I think it started in Ohio or something like that. Oh, here it is. The first Labor Day parade took place in New York City in 1882. Oregon, that's what it was the first state to make Labor Day a public holiday. So you learn something. It is educational. So that's a crash course in ChatGPT and an overview of the challenges in artificial intelligence that we're going to face over the next so many years. Any questions?
I'm signing up as we speak, but just to make sure I'm going to the right place, it's ChatGPT is really called OpenAI.
Yeah, OpenAI is who created it. So it's chat.openai.com. And then Microsoft does have one. I forget the name of it. It's through Bing. And I haven't used it, so I don't know how good it is, but going to see a bunch of content coming from Tamar now.
It's when I go to ChatGPT, it's taking me right to openai.com/GPT-4.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
There's a million of them out here.
I'm sure, like I said, it's been spun off for various reasons, one of them being malicious, or more than one, I'm sure. And there is one out there that'll help you generate images. I think there's some that'll even help you generate like those videos that you see sometimes. There were companies that used to do it, but now I think they're more, you can do it through AI now, to kind of explainer videos. They have like little cartoon characters and stuff.
Yeah, and other platform has it automatically built in. I just posted my wellness event on Eventbrite, and in the Eventbrite, it was like, would you like me to suggest?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, they have AI built into a lot of the platforms now. Where did I see it? And I was going to try it out. Yeah, it's going to become more and more prevalent as this gets more and more powerful. So again, are there concerns? Of course there's concerns. Deepfakes, one of them. Privacy, another one. What could this thing ever become self-aware? Probably. I saw a post somewhere where it said that the cycle is we create artificial intelligence takes over and enslaves us, and then the sun solar flares destroy artificial intelligence and we rebuild civilization. And that's just been how it goes. It's crazy, but solar flares do disrupt us. So, and I did, what was the other thing I saw? Oh, I saw somebody post, instead of spending $20 on Netflix every month, spend it on ChatGPT and grow a business. Like I said, people are creating books with this. They're writing books. I saw a friend of mine post books, and I know they don't write. And so they have like 8 or 10 books on Amazon. You don't write. I know you don't write, but they have books on Amazon now. So yeah, people are writing books with this. They're writing, they're creating, you can create an affiliate website through this. Like you can create content for it. So what a lot of people, you probably see the ads on Facebook all the time where top 23 outdoor items for your porch in the summer on Amazon. That's all AI creating the content. And they're just getting affiliate money from Amazon. So you click on the link and go, oh, this is really cool, and go to Amazon and buy it. They get a dollar or something for it. Any other questions? All right, so you can find us on these 4 platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Noir's Tech. I will eventually upload this video. Maybe I'll try to do it today to YouTube. And I think Facebook, I know LinkedIn has a 15-minute limit. Facebook, I'm not sure what their limit is, but I'll definitely YouTube, and you can look for it and rewatch it. Appreciate it.
Scott, one question. Do you have your like series of topics already set and
I have
laid
the, yeah, the next top, I don't have them all laid out, but I do have the next one. Hang on. Because of course I don't remember.
or just send it to us so we can put it out on the calendar,
Okay.
promote it?
Let me see what the next one is. That's probably a good idea for me to mention it here anyway. Oh, FTC Safeguards rule. Safeguard rules. It's actually, I always say safeguards rule. It's safeguard rules. So it's a set of compliance for anybody in the financial world. And so that sounds like, all right, banks and financial advisors, it's not just them, it's everybody. Tax advisors, auto dealerships, anybody that collects consumer data for financial purposes. And that list is pretty extensive. Insurance providers. Matter of fact, I just saw someone send an application for a commercial property, and they sent the application as a Word document. And in the Word document, it asks for the EIN number of the business, the social security number of the owner, and I think maybe the birth date of the owner. And there was another piece of information. And I said, that should not be in a Word document that gets sent over email. And the person that showed it to me said, well, this is typical in real estate. And I said, yeah, well, the FTC might have something to say about that. So it's the problems are out there. And, you know, so real estate, maybe not realtors specifically, but real estate would also fall under the FTC safeguard rules. Yeah, so that's next week. And then I'll be generating a list for October. October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, so we'll probably do a lot around that. And so we'll be here every Tuesday at noon.
Yay, great. Thank you
so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Scott.
Good
You're
stuff.
welcome.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Wait, Scott, wait. So I could put my wellness retreat in there. Ladies, West Hartford, yoga, meditation, fitness, exotic plant shopping. Check it out.
Where's that?
West Hartford, Warehouse 635 is where it's going to be at. November 16th, right before the family wears you out for the holidays. Okay.
Nice.
All righty.
That means you're going to have to do another one in January, you know.
Sure.
What is the business called?
Phoenix Professional Services. It's a mental health and virtual wellness practice.
I love it.
Awesome.
I have a daughter. Maybe we'll go.
We should introduce you to our Health and Wellness Council too.
You have a council?
Yeah.
We do.
They're the
It's
Mid-State Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah. We're Mid-State Chamber. Our office is in Meriden. But yeah, do you, can you put your email in the chat, or maybe Scott could email it to us, either way? And we'd be glad. Mary can add you to our, not only Health and Wellness Council list, but add you to our email list so that, you know, you can come check out some of the stuff that we have going on here to promote your business.
Absolutely.
Yay.
Phoenix goes upward. Thank you.
You're welcome. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Scott. I'm signing up right now. I am working too hard and I don't want it anymore.
Yes. Good for you.
All
Bye.
right.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Did you get that, Tamar?
Mm,
That
I
Phoenix?
have her information. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.